Hello, my dears, and welcome to Pisces season. It's going to be a fun one, I think. It's, if we have not met, hello and welcome. My name is Sarah. I do quantum healing work. My background is in corporate. I've been training teams for a long time, so I usually meet you when you've been repeating similar patterns and you kind of are ready to make sense of a little bit of what's going on. So today we're going to talk about Pisces season, a little of the astrology that goes with it, maybe some validations and some foundations for how you might be feeling in ways that you can best navigate this, because it's the last season of the astrological year. The spring equinox, the first day of Aries season, starts the astrological new year. I have the general grid behind me. Starts with Aries, goes all the way around over to Pisces. So the sun in the sky is going to go into the sign of Pisces. It was also when I was, getting ready for this video and I was making notes, I found it to be very fascinating that the moon, this little guy right over here, I think you can see it. This is your chair. This is your chair. Actually, before I get started, go grab your coffee and tea and some water. I have some water with lemon and ginger. I don't know if you can hear, but I have a little tickle in my throat today, so it's taken me a few attempts to even start this video. And I have some diluted coffee and some rocks and stones on the table. So I have little Marvin here for the pause. If you want to grab your journal, if you'd like to take notes, or just grab some coffee and tea and hang out with me at the cafe table, go ahead. So I have this song in my head for this season, and it keeps popping up in a way that it's like, I don't want to scream it at you, nor do I want to butcher it because, like I said, the tickle. But this is how, like the title of the video says, you must know how to save yourself. Is that what I wrote? No one's coming. There's no aliens coming down. We have our angels. We have the wave of light coming in. If you know, you know. So we're stepping into self-sovereignty, especially with Aries energy and all the things going on. But the last sign of the zodiac, healings, closures, and coming home. It's endings and beginnings. Pisces, I want to say Pisceans. Pisces, the two fishes, they live in this world and the etheric world. They are daydreamers. They literally, every time I do the chart reading in my Patreon group, I just want to pay you to stay home, my Pisces darlings, and daydream into the new world, because it's just your wildly overactive imagination is so... Oh my gosh, it's your brain, as we all know, is a 3D printer. And so I love how magical and how hopeful and how lovely your brain is, and how like wistful and darling your thought processes are. And even as I'm saying all these things, my little fogginess is very Piscean, and I love how I really sink into the vibration of the videos. Even as I record this, it's still Aquarius season. Where's the sun in the sky? Hold on. As I record this, the sun is at 25 degrees of Aquarius. But like you can see, I'm already in Pisces season. Yeah, all's well in the world. So the song, please go find a version that suits your fancy. Mine is Susan Boyle's version when she auditioned, her first audition, but I dreamed a dream. I want to sink into it, and I want to show you through me how quickly we can go from this to this, from like your teacher and alien friend in a multi-dimensional cafe, Sarah, into the vibration of this song. Are you ready? This is how it's going to go. I dreamed a dream in time gone by. Hope was high and life worth living. I dreamed that love would never die. I dreamed that God would be for forgiving. When I was young and unafraid, where dreams were made and used and wasted, there was no ransom to be paid, no song unsung, no wine untasted. So that's how you're going to be feeling, or how you might be feeling, is when, you know how special, I have a quote written down somewhere. Over there. Let me get super quick, stay with me. Let's go to slap. There is no end to the things you don't understand. The mind will search for a lie to give it an answer you can understand. But one song at the right time will challenge what you accept. I told you it was worth it. That's definitely Pisces season, and I have no idea who wrote that quote. Please comment below if you know who did. It was, music is a very powerful thing. And so when I hear a specific song at the right time, how does that affect you? Comment below. I want to make sure. Sorry, this is all. Okay, let's get it. There's so many layers. I know, so many layers. So what happens to you when you're just driving down the road and, a person driving by next to you has a song playing and it reminds you of something? How does that make you feel when that happens to you? So, I dreamed a dream. You must know how to save yourself. Yes. So in many different ways, we know that no one's coming. But we do know that other versions of ourselves are coming. We know that our galactic friends are available to us. We know our angels are available to us. Our guides, our team, our higher self is always available to us. But it's us that has to discern what's going on. It's the human that has to navigate this world. I've been having a lot of really interesting getting to knows of my guides, and they are not perfect. They are growing and evolving and adapting with me. I chose them to be my guides. We came together because we were a vibrational match for each other, and they're learning just as much as I'm learning. They're offering me things in a way that I'm allowed to say yes, I'm allowed to say no, I'm allowed to say this will work for me. They are not gods, basically, is what I'm saying. So it could be very, very interesting. Even in my practice, what do I always say to you? I am no guru, I am a guide. I'm here to guide you as an oracle that can help you. I'm not going to predict the entirety of the future because that's ever changing for all of us. And there's a split and a divide. So as we know. So I want to talk about one thing that I find to be very fascinating, and I think I had tried to preface it before the song. So the first day of Pisces season, the sun is at 0 degrees of Pisces, and the moon is at 0 degrees of Cancer, right down here. Water to water, nice little trine. On the first, and this doesn't always happen, so that's why I find it fascinating. On the first day of Aquarius season, the sun was at 0 degrees of Aquarius, and the moon, I think, was at 0 degrees of Gemini, air to air. Was it Gemini or was it Libra? I think it was Gemini. Yeah, and I found that to be just so fascinating that it's to kind of go off of, I don't remember what, our old ways won't work anymore. What was that? The February 2024 video. The old ways aren't going to work anymore. We can try, we can attempt, but just like all of these inner planets had to conjunct with Pluto, and please go watch the February introductory video because I'm not going to repeat myself because, again, this is a lens. Do you see what I'm saying? I was speaking lenses because of my big old glasses. So we had Mercury, Mars, and Venus all come into the sign of Aquarius. They all had to conjunct, and they're at the same point in the same point in the sky at the same time, conjunct together. So those were poignant. So I find it to be very fascinating as well that when the sun goes into Pisces, the moon is going into Cancer. Again, another trine. My brain follows patterns, and astrology is perfect for that because it's just math, history, and patterns and numbers. So what do we know? We know nothing of astrology. We'll go through all the planets. So I have the sun over here in Pisces, and I have the moon over here in Cancer. We know that Cancer is the home body, safety feels key. This is cultural family roots, the base of the chart down here. My pocket of the world. Home will be on the mind. We're really, honest to goodness, we're going to be tired, and we're going to be nostalgic, and we're going to be hopeful, and we're going to be daydreamy and wishy and a little all over the place. But it's kind of on purpose. I feel like this is understanding your makeup, understanding the reason that I put know how to save yourself. Because even in relationships and partnerships and friendships and family dynamics, we know that we cannot expect the love from another that we really need to give to ourselves. We can't expect that person to fill us up. We have to fill ourselves up and know exactly what it is that we need. We need to know what our triggers are. We need to know what our traumas are. We need to be aware as to not project that onto the people in our lives. So this is going to be a perfect season for us to really know how to navigate ahead of time. So when we see things come up, or we see ourselves, becoming illusioned or disillusioned by certain, how do I say, ideologies, fantasies? Are we idealizing celebrities? Are we putting anyone up on a pedestal? Anyone. And really, that's a great notation for right now, is what type of a person, or maybe one person, do you idealize more than human? You've given them a free pass. You've given them a free, like, oh my God, if I met this celebrity, I know that my wife and I have a deal that I can be with them, and blah, 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 blah. Like, there are couples that have that. Or, I saw this really fascinating little clip of something the other day, is someone had like an app on their phone that looked like they were live with thousands of people watching. And they came up to, a gala or a gallery opening, and they showed the host like, hey, I'm live. And it was like hundreds of dollars for a ticket. And they let him right in. They introduced him to celebrities of that world. They just literally let them right in. So do you idealize people that have, a bigger following count? Is that something that, and what I want you to really recognize, like, list some people if you've put them on pedestals, and then ask yourself what it is that you've given them power to. This is just coming to me now. This was not on any of my notes, so I find this really poignant and fascinating. Because if it is it a trigger, or is it an idealization? Is there a mother-father wound in there? Is there something unconscious? Because we have the North Node conjunct Chiron in Aries over here. That's a big deal that's going on right now. And that's pretty much conjunct, I think it's like on March 5th, where it's going to be an exactitude. One of the nodes, there's the mean and the true. So it's really whichever astrological lens you really follow. But it's pretty, give or take, I think it's within 1 degree right now. It's, like the nodes are at 17, 18 degrees of Aries Libra. They're always in complete opposition of each other, opposite. And then Chiron will be at 16 degrees. So it's just pretty much by 1. So let's look at it as lenses. I'm going to sneeze, I think. Nope, we're good. We're good. So let's look at it as lenses. Chiron, the wounded healer, the wounded centaur. He was more of a gentle, docile centaur. And, he was really shunned out as soon as he was born. He was also a teacher of Achilles and Hercules. He knew that his passion and his purpose was to serve and to give. North Node, our collective destiny, the head of the dragon, what we're working towards, self-sovereignty, Aries, I am statement. They're also the little infant baby ram. They're the babies of the zodiac. If this is all the way over here at the beginning, then Pisces, I call them the baby ancients, where they're just so beautiful and etheric, and they can feel things in such an empathetic way. I know. If Scorpio is very aware of their empathetic capabilities, Cancer, they just are the mom friend, and honest to goodness, Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, whatever's going on with Mother right now, I'm just sending love to you, whether it's you, the mother with a capital M, your mother, your children, something's seriously going on right now. It's come up in the past 2 readings in my Patreon group, and I'm just sending you love. I'm really just sending you love. But for Pisces, they're kind of like, what do you mean? Everyone can feel the thoughts and words of everyone around them, and everyone has these types of fantasies. No, they don't. It's a superpower. It's a superpower, my guy. So yeah, I wrote, fascinating, with the trine of the sun and the moon. And the moon scoots, honest to goodness. Only a few days later, we're going to have our full moon come up in the sign of Virgo right over here. I'll have more information on that. And then Aries season, my guy, it's eclipse season. Things are going to happen quick. We don't have any planets retrograde until April 1st when Mercury goes retrograde. My gosh, oh golly gee, in the middle of eclipse season? Oh boy, yes. And it's going to be in the sign of Aries. Okay, that's casual. The word false starts are coming into my brain, but I'm just listening to my guides. Hold on one second. They're saying Mercury retrograde, even for me, they're talking to me as well, is not really something that we ever have to worry about. We know that they're coming, so it's the revisiting of certain things. Things might come up. People are really scared right now. I'm having a full body reaction to that. People are really scared right now. And when you shine, people are kind of not latching on, but unconsciously. This isn't a conscious act. People aren't like, oh my God, she's a light worker. Let me just go. They feel safe around you. They feel safe around you. When you do self-development work, when you speak from I statements, when you have a growth mindset, people are naturally drawn to that level of safety because you're not going to be projecting onto them. You're not going to say, oh, this is what you've done wrong. They're going to talk about themselves and their issues in a way that usually you're supposed to respond and say, oh yeah, this is what I'm working on and this is what I'm going through. But the danger of that is that a leader can make you feel as though you don't have to do the work just by listening to them. So part of it is actually doing the work. I think that came out nicely. I'm excited about that. So with all of this excitement happening over here, let me just get to the astrology super quick and then see what else comes through. We still have Mercury, Mars, Venus, and Pluto in the sign of Aquarius. And this is our house of community, friendships, and wishes for the future. That's so much of what I had said in the February 2024 video is we can't, because Pluto is now in Aquarius, this is a very slow moving planet. It's going to be in Aquarius for the better part of 20 years, save September to November of this year. It's going to dip back into Capricorn for 2 months. That's a change of paradigm. That's a change of complete lifestyle. That's a change of communication. That's a change of intellect. That's a change of thinking patterns. These are also, if you want to go full spiritual, this is a generational curse breaker. We're in an 8-year. We're in the year of the wood dragon. We're in a year of karma, and also a generational curse, for lack of a better term, or like a wound, Chiron, we could say, is about 7 generations. That's a Pluto cycle. So numbers are so fascinating and they don't lie. They don't lie. And sometimes we just have to surrender to them. There's a great clip that I saw it was a mathematician, a scientist, when talking about there are some components or there are some, equations that once you actually get to the conclusion, when you get to the answer, he's like, you just have to bow to God. Like, we don't have the full answer. It's one of the foundations of quantum physics. It was in, what the bleep do we know, is the more you know nothing. We're specks, particles of God having a human experience. And when you float above it, it's absolutely profound. But we can't disassociate. We still have to function within this reality. And when we actually make a friend with presence, the whole world changes. The whole world changes. I love how Piscean I am in this video. It's just so beautiful, so beautiful. So, Sun in Pisces, Saturn in Pisces, and Neptune in Pisces. This is the 12th house, the final sign of the zodiac. And obviously find where Pisces falls in your own birth chart. Where does Pisces, what do you mean by that, Sarah? In my birth chart, part of the 4th house and the 5th house, this is where Pisces is for me. So the sun in the sky right now is in my 4th house, and my guy, I very rarely want to leave the house. It's very nice. I love cleaning it. I love cooking. I just got more gluten-free flour. I'm making muffins. I literally, oh my God, I'll share a very personal, very, very personal thing. It's Valentine's Day as I record this, and I'll be at my restaurant job tonight. I don't know when I'm going to post this, but I hope to see many of you there. And I just love showering you with love, and it's such a love-filled day. And so last night, I was making dinner for myself, and I have this beautiful table that I'm sitting at right now. And I usually work, this is my lovely living room. Welcome to my home. And I just had this moment where I decided to just set the table. And I had my salad in the salad bowl. I had a little salad dish. I put everything on the table. I had the salt and pepper on the table. I had my water. I had 2 forks for myself. And I sat listening to Lord of the Rings lo-fi music. I know. Even the black socks that I have a little white tree on them. I'm sure they're like Timberland or something. Like, I have no idea. And I'm like, oh, the white tree of Gondor is on your socks, child. Yes. Like, that's so Pisces. But my 5th house of play starts in Pisces. So she's getting a rockin'. So the sun, Saturn is a heavy hitter, and Neptune has been slow moving in Pisces. So I'm not even going to, we have a big conjunction coming up, and they're all at the same point in the sky. I'd love for you to note this date because it's an important date. The 28th of February, we will have the sun, Saturn, and Mercury conjunct, all 3 of them, making a super planet, same point in the sky. It will be at 9 degrees of Pisces. So definitely see exactly where that is falling in your chart, if it's falling, what houses it's falling in, what planets are getting affected by it. Maybe any planet that's give or take around 9 degrees is going to have some sort of an activation. That's big stuff. Look at it as lenses. The sun, our ego in the sky. Saturn, our interdisciplinarian. Mercury, our inner dialogue, our Hermes planet, if you will. So I'm listening to my guides. When I'm talking to you, they show me a screen over here, and then I usually have another process going on over here. But when it comes to this one, it's discernment, yes. The conjunction of the North Node. These are really deep things. These are really deep things that we're processing and looking at. And since you're here with me, you know this language, that it is not always easy to go to the depths of your own soul and say, oh, that was me. That was what I did. That was my role in this. And it's really only my mindset that needed to shift. And you have to look at these really gross things. And it is not a fun journey. And then sometimes you meet people and they're like, yeah, everything's great, everything's fine, all's well. And there's a little bit of like a disassociation there. I had been asking my guys, like, they're not disassociated. They really don't have this language. So there can be no judgment. Truly, there can be no judgment. Like, it was, last Sunday, it was the Super Bowl. And for a while, like the week leading up to it, I was like, people are so fine participating in this gladiator performance of bread and circus. And then, honest to goodness, I had been dog sitting that day, and I just saw a family making a little bonfire in the backyard. It was literally like a Hallmark movie. And the kids were just playing football outside. They had no idea. They're not participating in nefarious things. They have no idea. They're just living their lives as human beings. So I found a lot of reprise, and I found a lot of release of judgment, and me saying to myself, well, what is underneath that, Sarah? Where's all your judgments? What is going on? And for myself, it was either A, a little bit of loneliness, or B, no, it was straight loneliness. That's what it was. just being honest with you this Pisces season. And that's something that happens when you come into your spiritual powers, your spiritual awakening in every sense. There's a loneliness when you're not in the old world. You don't play in that world, but you still have to, participate, work maybe a 3D job. I definitely do, before you go into your next paradigm. So there's this FOMO, there's this loneliness, there's this feeling of a little bit of judgment and frustration. But why didn't you wake up? Why can't we talk about what's actually happening in the world and the way that you get manipulated? You can with some people. You can. I'm so blessed and grateful to have this community here where I can speak my truth and speak my piece, and everyone is, for the most part, pretty kind and lovely and accepting, because they say, wow, thank you for sharing your vulnerability. This is what I'm going through in that same capacity. This is what I understood from that share. So I would love for all of us, myself going first, to release judgment on those, because it's not like this, they're going to have their comeuppance, or, for the bad people, a portal's going to open and they're all going to go into the pits of hell. No, they're not. Just who you are is being seen. Who you are is shining through you in a bigger way. And so if someone's not your flavor, then just keep being your flavor until you do meet someone that's your flavor. And discern. And not hopping into friendships or hopping into experiences that, I would say, honest to goodness, anyone that you meet right now. There'll be a Mars-Venus conjunction. I don't know the exact date on that, but Venus is at 3 and Mars is at 4 degrees for the moment that the sun goes into Pisces. So I wouldn't hop into anything. I would really talk and get to know the people, get to know your new communities, get to know, because in Pisces season, especially with Saturn, especially with Neptune, when the sun is conjunct Neptune, for the love of sweet God, please don't make any big decisions. We are so hopeful and so no, it's the one. It's the one. It might be the one, but get to know them. Get to know them so that feeling can wear off, and you say, I think it was the Lewis Howes, that, can you picture yourself having 10,000 meals with this person? Can you picture yourself sharing intimate conversations and experiencing your triggers and your shadows and not projecting them onto the people in your life? Friends, family, community, soul beings. We have the South Node being, for a moment, let's forget that the North Node and the South Node are two sides of the same coin. And we'll just look at the fact that Chiron is opposition and opposite of the South Node, what we're releasing and leaving behind, which is in the house of relationships over here. There's an intense, heavy focus on, this is public life, this is home, this is self, and this is relationships. So a public self-focus over here. And the two beings, Lilith, is in the house of everyday life, and then the South Node, what we're releasing, partnerships, friends, family, adversaries. Are they worthy? Are they aligned? What other time do we know of oppositions? Is when we have a full moon. It's when the sun and the moon are in complete opposition to each other, and we have the full moon in the sky that's illuminating something that we have not seen. Even the opposition itself, self to others, is about experiencing yourself through the lens of others. So Chiron, the wound inside of ourselves, in the sign of Aries, I am, being in opposition, polarizing to the South Node, what we're releasing in the house of relationships. I really think that made a lot of sense. Please comment below. Let me know if that makes sense. So, knowing that we have a full moon in Pisces and then a full moon in Virgo and then a new moon in Pisces during this Pisces season. And then when Aries season hits, it's just, we can't see past our own noses in Aries season. I know in the northern hemisphere, we're like, it's springtime. Yes, I don't care if it's going to snow tomorrow. I'm wearing jeans. I'm wearing shorts. And I'm outside and I'm gardening and I don't care if it's going to snow tomorrow. You are irrationally focused on what it is you want and believe. Truly. At least in the northern hemisphere, at least in Massachusetts. It's like you have neighbors next to each other. There could be someone who's doing cold plunges, someone who's actually sunning on the beach, and then somebody walking by in full Eskimo gear in the same moment. That's just New England for you. We all experience spring differently. And so in this Pisces season, I want to parlay over into mental health after this. Just be your own special. Be your own self. But the most important component is that you cannot expect anyone around you to entertain or validate you because they are having their own completely different experience. I'm going to say that again. We cannot expect anyone in our lives to entertain or validate our reality in the way that we must know it to be true because they are having their own experience of their reality, which is as realistic as yours. It's almost like I wanted to say, like, what is truth? Or there is no truth. There are certain components to this third dimensional matrix that, yes, we must, laws that we abide by, gravity being one of them. That's a pretty important one. We pretty much all accept gravity. Some people do things that wiggle gravity. I know that I work on levitation and teleportation. I know that that's something that I'll be able to do in this lifetime, but that's not where I am right now. So I spend time focusing on it and I study it, but I'm not ready to jump off the roof. No, that's not happening. That's not happening. With all that being said, these are energies and vibrations that everyone on the planet has access to. They might not be aware of it. They may not feel it as intensely as you do, truly, which is wild to me as well. There are some days that physically, when I'm going through some of like the solar flashes and upgrades and things, I'm just like, just in bed and I'm like just gyrating and it's pretty intense. And I'm like, is anybody else feeling this? And I know that there are many people who are, but it could be that people right next door across the street aren't feeling any of it. And that's an active choice. That's an active choice. So knowing all of this information, we're going into a disillusion space. We know, okay, when the sun is conjunct Saturn and Mercury, it's going to be a heavy hitter. When we have Chiron and the North Node conjunct, it's going to be a heavy hitter. When we have the sun and Neptune conjunct, we know not to make big decisions. We're empowered now. We can check our chart. We can follow the stars. We can see if we're, you remind me of this person. You remind me of this person. You remind me of this person. No member berries, my friends. No member berries. This is, you remind me of this person. Thank you. That was a beautiful song that I just listened to in the conversation with you, but you're not meant for my timeline, so I'm just going to say goodbye like a stranger and keep on walking. Nope, I don't want or need your phone number. That was a nice dinner. Amazing, beautiful. Thank you. Goodbye. We have to be able to speak our truth and not, again, we don't expect others to be able to heal us. We cannot heal others unless they ask us. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? So, okay, how to save yourself. Know what your triggers are. Know what fantasies you choose to entertain. Know what your reality is and the boundaries of that reality. Know that not everyone needs to be a part of your reality, nor will they always understand you, nor can we expect them to validate our reality. I'll give a little example. I was listening to just a clip of a podcast discussion for someone, a YouTuber that I really respect, and he was listening to a preacher, and they were talking about God, and they were talking about Jesus. And he was giving like a little about like, is Jesus God? I can't really remember exactly what it was. And then another conservative person that I really respect and follow commented and just goes, well, that's just not true. So I respect all three of those people talking. I listened and took the cafeteria line of information that resonated with me, and I left the rest. And then I saw that, and I was like, okay, that's your opinion. We all get them. We all get them. And we have our worlds and we have our realities in a way that I've made this analogy before when it comes to relationships, but let's just put reality as the lens in front of it. View your reality as a mandala. And your consciousness is the center of the mandala. And different beliefs that you have are going to jive and resonate with people that are so important to you and so precious to you, but they don't have to believe the same things that you do for them to be an important and special person in your life. My siblings, I'll give an example with my siblings. My younger sister and I, we can talk spirituality, we can talk woo-woo, we can talk manifesting in so many different realms, multidimensionality, incredible stuff. Yet I'm definitely more of a religious person. I'm a minister and I follow Jesus, and he's one of my dear friends and close companions, and I absolutely love him. And she is more of into the spiritual practices. Spirituality is God consciousness, and does more of the witch stuff, does more when I'll call her and she'll be like, well, just do a spell for that. Just do a spell for this, and just do this, and just put a little bit of cinnamon on your hands before you go to, like, that type of stuff. Whereas I go to the book or I pray, and that's where we differ. But they're the same thing, just different languages. We're both praying to the God of our understanding, and that's all that matters here. Yeah, maybe ask yourself, who is the God of your understanding? As the last sign of the zodiac, this is the perfect time for us to really be diving into our spiritual practice, or nurturing it, nourishing it. What does our practice look like? And this is without judgment, just an actual honest list of, okay, I wake up and, I make sure to meditate or ground before I check my telephone. I definitely drink water before I have coffee or tea. I journal. I express my gratitudes every day. That's pretty incredible. That's a lot. That's a lot. So don't judge where you are. Just look at where you are. And if it's not where you want to be, then decide where you want to be and take tiny little baby action steps to get there. We will have the full moon before we have the Sun, Saturn, Mercury conjunction, which is interesting. So the full moon will be when the sun is at 5 degrees of Pisces, and the moon will be at 5 degrees of Virgo. And the word that came through for that is habits. Habits, habits, habits. We know that our habits dictate our life. They dictate our trajectory. They dictate how we manifest everything. Everything is based on our habits. So if you don't like where you are in your life, visualize your future self, where you want to be, and don't look at them on stage doing the thing. Don't look at them holding up the book that you haven't written yet, or speaking the language that you don't know how to speak. Look at, what do they do every day? Do they exercise every morning? Do they meditate every day? Do they write at least once a day? Do they practice that language? Look at the habits. And even if it's for 15 minutes, do the thing that you see them doing for 15 minutes a day. That's the hottest part, is actually incorporating the habit of the new habit into your daily life. That's literally it. That's literally it. Everything else will change. You are changing from the inside out. Yes, people will fall away. Yes, I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you say, like, okay, well, I'll lose people, I'll lose jobs, I'll lose this, I'll lose blah, 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 blah. If it's a fear-based, know that why are you holding on to something that is not meant for your most authentic timeline, and look at that fear. As I was driving home from the grocery store today, I had an interesting thought, and I just said out loud, I was like, the unknown is really cool. It's really cool. We don't know what's in there. Yeah. So think to yourself of a time, and this is a practice that I'm doing today as well. When was the unknown? When did you do something that you had no idea what the outcome was going to be? But when you finished it, you're like, that was really cool. And maybe there was fear. Maybe you didn't know you could do that. But yeah, maybe in your journal today, write out something that you didn't expect, you didn't plan on it, it happened, you were prepared for it, and you're just afterwards like, wow, that was super cool. I didn't know I could do that. Yeah. sometimes the unexpected is so much better than we could have ever expected. But it's giving God, it's giving the universe, whatever you've labeled God, the chance to surprise you and give you what you are a match for. And walk around with that twinkle in your eye that only Pisces, sun, moon, or rising has, where they're just like, yeah, like Santa. Like, Santa, yeah. Like, let magic be real. Truly, just let it be real. Let it be real. Yeah, I want to ask my guides or higher self if there's anything else. Oh, that's a note that I completely forgot, right? That I wrote. You are the company you keep. When it comes to the South Node in Libra, you have to remind yourself of that you are the amalgamation of the 5 closest people to you. That quote is a very old quote, which is, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. We know this. We know this. So as the South Node finishes its transit of Libra, and it will be there for the entirety of 2024, so you have tons of time to look at this. A, find where it's falling in your chart and what actual house it's super duper activating. But B, really look at the people in your life that you give attention to. You can share the same space. It's not like a 3D planet and a 5D planet. We're all sharing space. So what people do you give your attention to in your normal environment, in your day-to-day life? You can transmute anything when you look inside yourself and see what you've projected onto them, and then they're not going to be a problem anymore. If there's physical violence, if there's narcissism, if there's abuse of any kind, you do what it is that you need to do, say what you need to say, and then get out of that room. So know that when I'm talking about doing this work, it's kind of, how do I say, like the family unit. We've talked about this a lot. We know that there's more of an attack on the family unit, all based in financial fear. And so if you can do the work with the mother or the father, soul purpose, down here, if you can do that work with your birth mother, with your birth father, if you can't, you could do it in meditation. But if it's needed, go no contact, and that's okay. That's okay. I know, I'm going through it. It is okay. It will be okay. Sometimes that's the only way to express love, and sometimes that's the only way to have them in your life. Does that make sense? Because if you're seeing them on a physical level, and you diminish, and you go down, and you stay codependent, that's not advantageous for your growth and your trajectory as an authentic being on this planet. That doesn't help your soul develop. But when you go no contact, you can still have the happy memories. You can still have the good views, if you have any. I hope you do. And you can think of them with love, with reverence. It's part of the spiritual path. One of my dear Sarahs, she'd said to me, I don't know whose language this is, but when it comes to your enemies or these types of people, you have to wish the thing that you want the most for them as well. You have to wish all the blessings in the world for everyone. For everyone. Not just the people that you have deemed to be worthy, because we're God particle having a human experience, but we are not God. We don't get to make those decisions. We don't get to judge in that capacity. So you are the company you keep. So be very aware. I've said many a times, I have many resources for that. My relationships are drastically changing video, that could be a good one. And I'm also going to put the video for mental health is no joke right now. That's just about Saturn and Pisces. I recorded that last year. Saturn is going to be in Pisces for a little while, so I'll put the links for both of those videos below, so you have easy access to them. I think that's it. Yeah, there's nothing else really big going on. in the season. Nice, I like it. Aside from 2 really heavy-hitting days that are pretty intense for the entire year, but other than that, casual. Does anyone else feel that way now? That you wake up every day and it's just like, all right, let's tango, universe. God, what new lessons was I not prepared for that you have deemed me to be worthy and prepared for? Yeah. God will never give you too much. God trusts you. And if God isn't giving you something, this was a quote that I'd heard from a short of the Girls Gone Bible page. Absolutely beautiful YouTube channel, like just incredible stuff. And they spoke to if God isn't giving you the blessing that you've been desiring, whether it be money, whether it be something, it's because you haven't been handling what it is that you have in the way that you need to. So it's just another lens of manifestation, which I really appreciated, which is if we know that, God is your sugar daddy, that God is your provider, your protector, and you've been asking for this thing, just give it over to him and say, if the way that I'm doing things is not working, God, universe, show me the way. Show me how you want me to do it. It helps. Really get to know yourself this Pisces season. Get to know yourself in a more intimate way that maybe you never have before, and view your role from above. We know that this is a third dimensional matrix reality, that we are consciousness running these human avatars, that none of this is real. Watch it like a movie. Watch, oh my gosh, look at Sarah. This is how she's acting right now. This is what she's doing. Look at her floundering inside. She's listening and she's nodding, but she's ready to scream. And then she's going to go have a little cry in the bathroom, splash some water across her face, and then she's going to go back out there like nothing happened. Like a good Aries sun conjunct Jupiter would. Yeah, sometimes I recognize this morning, I don't even recognize that Jupiter is in my chart because my sun is at 2 degrees of Aries and my Jupiter is at 5 degrees of Aries. So sometimes I'm like, where's Jupiter? Where's the let be a lady tonight? It's conjunct your ego, child. So just, it's a lot of laughing and tears. A lot. Yeah. My Aries rising, to be a little tired. It's just the calm, Gandalf, the inhale before the plunge. Yeah, Aries season's gonna be wild. Well, even this season, because Saturn, Neptune, well, we know Pluto doesn't move, but we just had everything go over Pluto. Saturn, Neptune, Jupiter, and Uranus don't move too quick. So the sun is gonna transit over these planets. Mercury, Mars, and Venus are all going to transit over these planets. So it's kind of the inner planets are going over, conjuncting all these outer planets that are really nailing down on certain points in our chart and activating certain points in our chart. I think that's it for today. Yeah. What questions do you have for me? Comment them below. What are you most excited about for Pisces season? And what do you feel in the past has been most activated during Pisces season for you? I know for me, I sing a little bit more. I dance a little bit more. I paint. I think last year I'd taken months off from painting. And as I'm saying this now, I haven't painted in a very long time. And I remember last year, Pisces was the season that I, busted out all of my art. I do very abstract art. I roll around in the paint and then put it on the canvas while I'm channeling and doing a healing. So it's pretty out there. Yeah, but it's chilly. I can turn the heat up. I'm just saying. I'm having 2 conversations, just like Gemini season. I think that's it. I love you. Thank you so much for being here. There are tons of links below. If you're keen for a one-on-one session, please email directly. If you'd like to join my new moon and full moon Patreon group, the link for that is below. It's like one of my favorite offerings that I have. If you are keen for a recorded birth chart reading of your own, please email directly. That's about a 1 to 3 day delivery time after payment. What else do I have? I've closed my tarot tier Patreon group. So what I've created is for the 12 videos that I had in there that were all my teaching videos, I've created a Gumroad downloadable purchase. So for $8.88, I think I listed it as, the link is below, you can download, it's a Gumroad download, and you get access to 12 different teaching videos, how to begin, how to pick the right deck, how to clear your deck. We deep dive into a few different cards. We deep dive into the Fool, the Four of Pentacles. We talk about tarot for mental health, why the establishments don't like tarot, and how to blend tarot with astrology so you can find the card for your sun, moon, and rising. Some really fun videos in there. I love that Patreon group, but it just wasn't the place for my tarot readings and things like that. So please, I'm going to offer more tarot complimentary for you. I usually do lives on my Instagram. That's usually the place that I do lives. So definitely go check out my Instagram. The link for that is below if you're interested. And I haven't been popping on. That's kind of I started to not enjoy doing the tarot readings because there were so much expectations to it and the teachings and stuff like that. And so I'd rather just live channel it. Like truly, I love doing tarot readings completely blind with strangers I've never met before. I've been the tarot. Oh, and if you'd like to book me for an event, it's 4 hours for me for a tarot reader at the event. I've done weddings, I've done birthday parties, I've done solstice gatherings, all different things. Those are some of my favorite events to do. And it's just so much fun. Like I said at the beginning, I usually pop up in your life on your feed, whatever it may be, at a time where you've just been repeating certain patterns and you're like, I am a forward thinker. I have a growth mindset. I am a leader. I am an entrepreneur. I have all of these skill sets, but things aren't just working out for me. You got that little woo-woo. Yeah, and I'll make it accessible for you. Yeah, it's true. I don't know if you could hear that. I'll leave you with one of my favorite quotes on astrology. It's from JP Morgan, which is, millionaires don't follow astrology, but billionaires do. So check your chart. Where's Pisces falling? Where are these big conjunctions happening? And get ready for eclipse season next month. It's going to be fun. Ciao, ciao.